The rumble of motorcycles filled the air, a cacophony of freedom and rebellion that echoed through the parking lot. The sun beat down mercilessly on the asphalt, creating shimmering mirages that danced in the distance. In this heat-soaked arena, an unlikely confrontation was about to unfold, one that would challenge perceptions and redefine power dynamics in ways no one could have anticipated. James, a disabled black man in his late 40s, sat in his modified e-bike, his weathered hands resting on the handlebars. His eyes, deep pools of wisdom and weariness, scanned the lot as a group of bikers roared in, their leather vests adorned with patches that spoke of allegiance and defiance. The bikers, a motley crew of rough-looking men, dismounted their iron steeds and swaggered towards the convenience store, their boots scraping against the ground with each step. As James prepared to make his way into the store, he couldn't help but feel a familiar tightness in his chest. Years of facing prejudice and misconceptions about his disability had taught him to be wary, to always be prepared for the worst. He took a deep breath, steeling himself for what might come. The leader of the biker group, a burly man with a graying beard and arms covered in faded tattoos, noticed James and nudged his companions. "Well, what do we have here?" he sneered, his voice dripping with condescension. "Looks like someone's lost their way to the Special Olympics." The other bikers chuckled, their laughter a harsh counterpoint to the sudden silence that fell over the parking lot. James felt his heart rate quicken, the familiar surge of adrenaline coursing through his veins. But he remained still, his face a mask of calm defiance. "I ain't lost, friend," James replied, his voice steady and clear. "Just here to pick up a few things same as you." The biker leader stepped closer, towering over James. "You hear that, boys? He thinks he's the same as us." The group closed in, forming a menacing circle around James and his e-bike. "Why don't you show us what that fancy little bike of yours can do? Maybe do a wheelie for us." James felt the weight of their stares, the oppressive heat of their mockery. In that moment, he was reminded of Maya Angelou's words, "You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I'll rise." With those words echoing in his mind, James made a decision. "You know what? I think I will show you something," James said, reaching into his pocket. The bikers tensed, anticipating a weapon or some feeble attempt at self-defense. Instead, James pulled out his phone. "What you gonna do with that? Call your mama." One of the bikers taunted. James smiled, a smile that held secrets and strength. "No, not my mama, but someone who might interest you all." He dialed a number, his fingers moving with practiced ease. The phone rang once, twice, and then a voice answered, loud enough for all to hear. "Chief Johnson speaking." The biker's expressions shifted from amusement to confusion, then to dawning realization as James spoke. "Hey, Chief. It's James. Remember that favor you owe me for helping your daughter with her physical therapy? I think I'd like to cash that in now." As James calmly explained the situation, the biker's bravado melted away like ice in the summer sun. They shuffled nervously, exchanging worried glances. The leader, his face now pale beneath his weathered tan, held up his hands in a placating gesture. "Now, hold on there," he stammered. "We were just having a bit of fun. No harm meant, right, boys?" James ended the call and looked up at the now chastened group. "You know, there's an old saying, never judge a book by its cover. My grandmother used to tell me that all the time. She also used to say in this world, you're either growing or you're dying. So which is it going to be for you gentlemen today?" The parking lot was silent for a moment, the only sound the distant hum of traffic and the soft whir of James's e-bike. Then slowly, the biker leader extended his hand. "I reckon we've got some growing to do," he said, his voice gruff but sincere. "Name's Mike. We run a community outreach program through our club. Maybe you'd like to come speak to our members sometime? Share your story? James looked at the offered hand, then back at Mike's face. He saw something there, a glimmer of understanding, a spark of change. He took the hand and shook it firmly. "I'd like that, Mike. I'd like that very much." As the bikers mounted their motorcycles and rode away, their earlier bravado replaced by thoughtful silence, James couldn't help but smile. He thought about the journey that had brought him to this moment, the struggles, the pain, but also the triumphs and the unexpected allies he'd found along the way. He started up his e-bike, its quiet hum a stark contrast to the roar of the departing motorcycles. As he rode home, the wind in his face and the sun on his back, James felt a sense of hope. Hope for a world where people could look beyond appearances, where strength came in many forms, and where even the most unlikely encounters could lead to understanding and growth. In the distance, a bird took flight, soaring high above the city. James watched it go, reminded once again of Maya Angelou's words. The caged bird sings with a fearful trill, of things unknown but longed for still, and his tune is heard on the distant hill, for the caged bird sings of freedom. Today, in this parking lot, a cage had been opened, and the song of freedom rang out, clear and true.